out there grinding past a shitty, boring life into an amazing life by design. My name is Clint.
I'm Jonathan. And let me add on real quick one thing just right there, just real quick, because I was talking to someone the other day and they were like, what if I'm not motivated? How does Hustle Up apply to me? And I thought about it and I was like, well, not everything we talk about is hustling up the action. That's 20% of it, but it's a 20% that's often left out. But the other 80% of what we cover is mindset, and the 80% of life is mindset, especially since your perception creates your reality. And as I was thinking about it and talking about it, you know what I realized? What we do is we hustle up to a higher frequency.
I believe in that 100%.
So it's just hustle up. So whether you live a 9 to 5 and you're cool with that and you like to have fun, cool, be good energy. Your life by design is to put good energy into the universe through having fun and creating experiences with others.
And that may come out a little negative. I don't think anybody lives a shitty, boring life unless they think they live a shitty, boring life, right? Like, we want to call everybody to live a higher frequency. And one of the things that you mentioned at the Hustle Network meetup, it was really cool, is at Red Martini. We did it a little while ago, but it was I thought it was a good turnout.
We'll be doing them every last Tuesday of the month.
So Jonathan brought up the idea that input equals output, and if you can't change your output, let's say your behavior, then change your inputs, change the things you're listening to, change the content, change the audio, change the things you're reading, change the people that you're hanging out with, and start getting those better inputs to get your output to change. Now, we got a little feedback, he and I both did, positive, I don't know, I'm not gonna say negative, constructive and criticism. Positive. Yeah, and positive. And one of the topics was on swearing. It was on cursing. Jonathan swears, I swear, and I mean, situationally, like, you're not gonna bring me to your kid's birthday party and me be a toilet mouth, but if I'm being authentic, if I'm being me, if the filter's not on, and I try to keep the filter off as often as possible to attract the type of people that want to be around me. I'm not editing, I'm trying to be authentic, and the idea being that I want the people who want to be around me are the people that I want to be around me. Yeah. And so we got some feedback about cursing and swearing. So we're just talking about swearing today.
I was gonna say that could have been the original topic, but I think a more interesting topic that could be more relatable is public speaking.
Public speaking.
And finding that line of like, well, how do you want to be up there? Because we both got positive and negative or constructive. Yeah, we both got positive and constructive feedback on our public appearances, right?
Yeah.
So like, let's talk about what we did good and as well as what we can do better.
So content delivery has always been, I feel like the content is there, the message is there, the vibes are there. On my case, the thing that I got was energy. And I can even see these in the videos when I go back and watch the videos. I think I'm more animated. It's like, you should smile more. Ding. It's like, hey, you should smile more. Hey, maybe you should talk with your hands more, at least move, be more expressive with your face. And it's not even in a negative way. It's just, for me, when I'm seeing it, it's like, this is how you could improve behind a camera when you're on stage. Don't be Dr. Spock. Is it Dr. Spock or Mr. Spock?
Mr. Spock.
Don't be Mr. Spock. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's great feedback, because if you think about communication, right? And we've talked about this before. If you break it down to 100 percentage points, 58% is in body language.
Yeah.
35% is in vocal projection. So how you say something. Or I'm sorry, 53% is body language, 38% is how you say something. It's in that ballpark.
It's 55
body language, 38 vocal projection, so how you say something, and only 7% content, right? So when you're up there, you've got to really deliver.
Which I've heard challenged many a time.
I can attest to, just from being in the studio and watching how the energy is different based off not how the artist is just playing his music, but how he's demonstrating while his music goes on. Is he sitting there bumping his head like this, or is he up singing and dancing and being an entertainer?
The content matters, but the quality and delivery matter more. and then the total package is what ties everything together.
Yeah, and it's why we do video and audio.
Yeah.
And so up there, that was like having that cadence, speaking cadence. That was what I got complimented on, and that's what was essentially
looking like a freestyler on stage.
Yeah, I thought it was an inside joke because people kept saying that, and I was like, yo. But I watched the video, I went back. It's this. It's like I get in that flow state, and it doesn't just flow the words; it flows my hands. But one thing you did really well was you're very assertive with the way you speak, and it's very concise. You know what I'm saying? Like, whereas like mine's more like rhythmic and flowy, yours is more like boom, boom, boom,
boom, boom.
You see what I'm saying? Like it's like concise.
Well, and so that's the other part. One of the feedbacks, and this was not actually this was not intentional on my part. I don't know if he thought about it, but the thing was, okay, you got mind, body, and spirit represented on stage. We had Michael Chiara on there, fitness guru, local Atlanta trainer. Michael's the man, he trains both of us. And so you had mind, body, and spirit represented on stage. And well, I don't remember where I was going with that.
We were each of those archetypes.
Well, we were each of the archetypes. There's some even before that, but we'll tie back to it, I'm sure.
So that was that was awesome. Like that was cool, and because that's the event was priming yourself mentally, physically, and spiritually for long-term success.
Yes.
And we definitely delivered in the practical, the physical, and the spiritual.
I got it. And if you don't identify with Jonathan, maybe you can link with what Michael said, or maybe you can link with what I said. If you're not linking with what I said, maybe you were getting into the rhythmic flow of the freestyle that Hessing was spitting. It wasn't an actual freestyle, but it kind of felt like it, right? That Hessing was spitting on stage, dropping the knowledge and the isms and the truth bombs, right? And so having somebody, and we're going to always have, well, I don't know about always, but at least for the foreseeable future, we're going to have 3 panel members up on stage.
Different every time.
Different, yes. So he and I, it's not the Clint and Jonathan show. He and I will not be speaking every event. This next event is sick. We've got 2 out of 3 seasoned veteran entrepreneurs locked down, committed already. The third one is gonna happen. He's gonna happen. In fact, I'm gonna call him again tomorrow. But we're gonna bring you 3 seasoned veteran entrepreneurs who are all running $100 million plus businesses or very large enterprises with numbers and numbers of employees. So it's like, how did these grown men get to where they are? Because they were our age once, right, and younger. And they started their businesses in college or out of college or in their early 30s and grew them, and they evolved and adapted. So let's hear from these guys. To see, there are people doing it now. We'll bring you other people who are doing it now. That's sick. I want to see war stories from guys who have actually made it as well.
So we're going to be running awesome content like that from our brand, but there is a big contrast in the characters within the brand, right? Yeah. So if you follow, by the time you see this episode, if you follow the majority of people on the Hustle Up team, you'll see that they have a fan page that's their name --Hustle. Clint and I already have ours, and it's like we're characters in a TV show, and the TV show is life, and we're here capturing our conversations. Like, you might identify with some characters more than others, which is what you led into what you were just saying about the event. And the feedback you had given me was that people felt like I had cussed like incessively. Is that the word you used?
Incessantly, or I was inappropriately was the term, and not necessarily like the words you were saying were inappropriate, but maybe the setting felt inappropriate for them.
Yeah.
And I want to say, this is not your normal business function. I think the point of this is to be different than any other normal, and I dare say, potentially boring networking meeting. Yeah. It's to shake it up. The one thing I know is that if you put, I don't know what will happen, but if you put a bunch of 20, and we had people as young as 18 in that.
Yeah, we had people as old as 50-something.
Yeah, that's right. If you put a bunch of motivated millennials or motivated hustlers in a room together, and if alcohol is involved, that's only something else too, but if you put them in a room together to network and discuss and collaborate, something's going to come out of that. It might be a partnership, which it already has happened. It might be a business, but look, the world might not get changed, but your corner of the world could very well get changed. So it was a very positive experience in the long run.
It was, and to harp on the cursing thing, because it's kind of an interesting, now that we're moving into a new age where nothing's it's not everything is production quality anymore, right? It's not as censored. We're here giving you authentic conversation. I am who I am, and if you don't like cursing and you don't like how I talk or certain lingo I use, follow you, because we're spreading the same message just through different vehicles.
I swear too. So bad news.
Yeah. And if you listen to censored music and you don't like swearing, I understand that. Completely get it. I'm sure our fitness guy, when he starts his, he won't swear, and I'm sure our financial guy, the financial hustle won't either. But there's going to be content for everyone. Maybe we'll make an explicit channel, but we are who we are. Like, in a meeting, I'm the same person I am in a meeting, on stage, in this room right now, hanging out with my friends. Like, the other day I said to one of my investors, like, in a meeting, like, you feel me. And you know what I'm saying? Like, it just happens, but like, I am who I am, like 360. I don't switch it up. And so if you don't identify with that, that's fine. Get the same message. The thing is, whatever the message I'm trying to spread, if you don't like how I say it, just get it from someone else, because it's nothing but positivity.
I like that. He has told me more than once, you never turn off you never flip that business switch, right? And so equally, I am always like this all the time. It's just where my mind goes. This draws me back to like some comfortability. And you may get more animated when you're nervous, or you might get you may have nervous habits, right? But you're like not changing from your authentic self that's the goal, that's the key, and that's what we're doing. We're not editing. I don't want to be up here and start second guessing what I'm saying. We've preached this 100 times. Raw, real, unedited, unfiltered. We're not going back and changing mistakes. We're bringing these conversations to you to show that I'm not worried about the mistakes. We've filmed 50 podcasts. We don't have time to go back and edit the mistakes, right?
Yeah.
So
we want to bring you the truth in the most truthful way we can. We're all works in progress. We're all learning. We're still in week 3 of launching our podcast.
Yeah.
We're still learning, but at the same time, we're still us. We're not going to change. I hope you identify with one of us, because the Hustle Up brand has a very positive message it's bringing. So I hope you can hear one of us in the ways we communicate. But this is really, public speaking is the biggest fear that people have, and it's important to know your strengths and important to know your weaknesses and grow on them.
That's right.
So for anyone who's fearing public speaking or wanting to get better at it, repetition. Just do it. Put yourself on camera, and just put yourself in situations where you're talking more. You got anything else to add?
I'm out. I'm done.
Yeah. Be yourself. Don't switch it up. But always be A/B testing and learning what you could be doing better. Don't be fearful to do any public speaking.
Don't be prideful enough or too prideful to take constructive criticism. Like, if we are getting constructive criticism, I'm not sweeping all that under the rug, right? Like, we are listening to feedback. We're listening to thoughts. If you've got something, share it with us. We are that's part of the pursuit. I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to learn more and be the highest vibrational version of myself.
We don't just preach this shit.
Yeah,
we're really wanting, we are trying to grow, and as we grow, we want our connection, whatever the Hustle Squad ends up being called, we want us all collaborating and vibing off that energy and growing together, and we're just taking you on our journey of growth. So that being said, go ahead.
Yeah, but before we close out, the goal of Hustle, or at least my goal for Hustle, has shifted. When we started this, it was, let's record some fire conversations and share them with the world. And as it's grown and developed, it's become, let's figure out ways to add unreasonable, unfathomable, and unreturnable. Like, this is I want to give more than people could get back. Let's create ridiculous value for our friends, for our network, and for our community. So this next panel is going to be gross. The one after it is also going to be gross. And our goal is to form these connections and help other people grow the same way that we're helping each other grow, the same way that we're helping ourselves grow. Let's all get after it.
Yeah. And so share the message, spread the love, hustle up at all costs, don't stop. And what we mean by hustle up is hustle up to your highest frequency. Whatever motivates you to live that life by design, whatever your life by design is. Follow us at HSTLUP, www.HSTLUP.com. I'm Jonathan.
I'm Clint.
Until next time, hustle the fuck up.
Bam.